tonight. Regina residents are woken up by an early morning explosion at the co-op refinery. Relief for some Saskatoon parents as the government pledges to build a new home for their disabled children. And day 3 of the federal election campaign brings questions of interference by India in the 2022 Conservative leadership race.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, March 25th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Residents in North Regina were woken up by an earth-shaking sound early Tuesday morning. The rude awakening was the result of an explosion at the co-op refinery. Chris Edwards has the details.
A huge blast in northeastern Regina shook nearby houses and startled residents. Fire crews spent the next several hours dousing flames. Nobody was seriously hurt in the explosion, which happened at about 4:45 a.m. this morning here at the Regina Co-op Refinery. The explosion took place just by the intersection of 9th Avenue North and McDonald Street. The refinery is bordered by several residential neighborhoods to the south and west, including Uplands, Eastview, and Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs resident Alexa Dennis says she was woken up by the explosion. Her house sits just a few hundred meters from the facility, where she says loud noises aren't uncommon.
I was sleeping. My dog is in the living room here, and I don't know, I heard a big bang. Didn't really think much of it, because 4:30 in the morning. I was like, did another house explode? Like, I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't sure if it was a dream.
A refinery spokesperson tells CBC that everyone working in the facility was accounted for after the blast. He also confirmed 2 people suffered minor injuries. The Regina Fire Department was also called to the scene to help the refinery's fire team.
They had an incident out there involving one of their pipelines. No structures involved, no injuries, and I'm not sure what caused it, but there was an issue there that obviously lit, and they had it contained and under control in a short period of time.
This isn't the first major explosion at the Regina Co-op refinery. In 2011, 52 people were injured by another explosion and fire at the facility. That case was found to have been started by a corroded pipe, and the cooperative was ordered to pay a $280,000 fine. As for this explosion, the Regina Fire Department is working with Saskatchewan Occupational Health and Safety to try and figure out exactly what happened. Chris Edwards, CBC News, Regina.
Meanwhile, another fire has prompted the indefinite closure of Regina's Neo-Yotina Friendship Center. Crews responded to the fire near 11th Avenue and Osler Street Monday night. Flames were contained within an hour, but the building remains off limits while officials assess the damage. The center provides meals, cultural programming, and a safe consumption site. The executive director says the impact on the community will be huge.
So with the consumption site, we do see about 30 to 40 clients per day, 7 days a week as well. So the impact to the community will be quite significant with us being closed due to the number of clients we see, not only utilizing drop-in services, but also utilizing our other supports and services that we offer.
Innes says the staff are now directing clients to other community organizations for support. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Saskatoon is still struggling to find a solution to a substantial spike in drug overdoses in recent weeks. The Provincial Emergency Operations Centre is looking at short-term plans. That includes improving communication between responders and getting better data on overdoses. The city's fire department has responded to 435 overdose incidents from March 1st to 18th, 9 of which were fatal. Saskatoon's mayor is tying the overdose crisis to homelessness and the need for long-term plans.
We need a place for people to go at all times. I think with the library shutting down, with the other community support agencies that are no longer able to provide that service, it makes it even more important that we are working together as a team to find out what is the proper resourcing so that we can make sure not only that people have safe places to be, but just even a place to be.
Saskatoon police say they have arrested 25 people related to fentanyl trafficking since the overdose spike began. Well, we are in for some very messy, wintry weather over these next couple of days here. And we now have a special weather statement that has been issued. Let's take a look at where those are in the province. Most of south and central covered by those, including both Regina and Saskatoon, pretty much everywhere except south central and southwestern areas of the province. There's kind of two areas that we're focusing in on with this statement. The first is the Yellowhead Corridor, including Saskatoon and through much of central Saskatchewan, including the northern grain belt. This is where we are most concerned about heavy snow and upwards of maybe 20 centimeters of it, and with the wind picking up, possibly some blowing snow in there as well. Then the next area of concern is for Regina and west central and southern portions. This is where we could be seeing some freezing rain, especially on Thursday, and again along that Trans-Canada corridor. Moose Jaw eastward is where we could be seeing some pretty treacherous driving conditions. I'll have more on the breakdown of the timing and how much moisture we can expect coming up in your full forecast. Well, some Saskatchewan parents are relieved that help is finally on the way after years of asking. The parents are caring for their children who have complex needs, but because their children are adults, they couldn't live in a group home. Helena Mahalik has their story.
Selflessness and sacrifice, that's a lot of what goes into parenting. Those who have children with disabilities likely know that more than anyone. Parents United for Specialized Housing is a group of parents who have been fighting for years for a group home in Saskatoon to be built for adults with complex needs. Now, that project is in the works. This group of parents have devoted their lives to caring for their adult children. Every morning, Adrienne Zakreski spends an hour and a half getting her 29-year-old son, Evan, ready for the day. She gives him medication, feeds him, and gets him dressed. He has severe cerebral palsy and other cognitive impairments. Zakreski quit her job to care for him because she says it was the only option.
It is 24/7. It's a continuous continuum of care that they require. You are on call to get up in the middle of the night. I'll hear a cough and it's like, that one's not bad, I don't have to get up yet. Then you'll hear another cough and you're up running to get to that suction machine.
This is why Zakreski and other parents have been advocating for help. In 2023, they sent a proposal to the provincial government to create a care home specifically for children like theirs. And now the province's latest budget is promising funding for an 8-bed home in Saskatoon for adults with complex disabilities. Parents like Laurel Scher, who's been caring for her daughter for the last 30 years, says a care home like this would mean she could take time for herself for the first time in over 3 decades.
If you know that there's a safe place where your child will be cared for, it opens, doors we don't even know. And it'll just be a relief to know that she's in a safe place and that we can take a holiday or a weekend or something for ourselves.
The initiative is part of a broader set of updates to the Ministry of Social Services. The province says the ministry will receive a total of $1.84 billion in the 2025-2026 budget. Parents United for Specialized Care confirmed the Ministry of Social Services will be visiting Saskatoon to discuss next steps for the home. Cher's daughter, who lives with disabilities, says this way she won't have to live at home with her parents anymore. She even has her own list of what she would need from a care home.
I'm going to need a safe and accessible place to live with people who understand my medical needs. So they need to help me make sure I have my meds properly, my right meds, personal care.
The plan for the Saskatoon home is still in its early stages, but it should be built in the next 2 to 3 years. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The official opposition says the province is failing to meet its promises to deal with a backlog of breast health diagnostics. The government had previously said its new breast health centre in Regina would open by the end of this fiscal year, which is next week. Tuesday morning, the NDP took aim at the provincial government.
We've seen them make these announcements, which can make for a good news day, but when it actually comes to following through and providing health care for the people of the province, they are failing to deliver on that promise.
But later Tuesday, under questioning from the NDP, the government announced the facility in Regina would indeed be opening next month. Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell defended the delay by pointing to how many people will benefit from the new facility.
We expect 1,600 women a year to go through this Regina Breast Health Centre. That is significant when you look at the women in the southern half of the province and ensuring that they have good access to care. $1,600 a year, that's a big deal.
And despite the development, the official opposition says the province continues to send women to Calgary to receive diagnostic services rather than building up Saskatchewan's own capabilities. Well, the birds are certainly enjoying the warm, sunny weather on the banks of the South Saskatchewan River in Saskatoon. And it's a good thing they enjoyed it while it lasted, because as you heard a little earlier there, we are in for some unsettled and winter-like weather these next few days. You heard about the weather statement and a bit about what's to come, but I'll have the full details on timing and just how much snow and rain we can expect in our full forecast when we come back. Stay with us. An intelligence report claiming that India meddled in the 2022 Conservative leadership race was the hot topic on day 3 of the federal election campaign, and it has raised questions about Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's continued refusal to get his security clearance. Olivia Stefanovich has more.
There's no question Pierre Poilievre won the 2022 Conservative leadership race handily. But now new allegations have surfaced, suggesting India meddled in the contest.
Let's be honest. I won the leadership fair and square.
The allegations stem from reports that say Canada's spy watchdog learned Indian proxies raised money and organized within the South Asian community for Poilievre, though there's no evidence Poilievre and his team were aware.
I'm glad that the Liberals put this attack out today. Really glad. Because there's something that's really been worrying me.
Switching from defense to offense, Poilievre swung back, accusing Liberal leader Mark Carney of holding secret meetings with the Chinese central bank.
How is he ever going to stand up to foreign interference?
A claim Carney's team dismissed as a distraction.
I find it beyond baffling. I find it downright irresponsible.
Both Carney and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh say Poilievre would have known about the alleged meddling in his leadership campaign if he had his national security clearance.
That to me disqualifies you as a prime minister candidate. It's not someone that we can trust to stand up to foreign interference.
The foreign interference inquiry the Conservatives called for recommended all federal leaders seek top security clearance.
What I will not do is commit to the oath of secrecy that the Liberals want to impose on me.
I've never thought that that was a credible statement. There is no good reason for that belief.
Poilievre had national security clearance before when he served as a cabinet minister under former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. He says he won't seek it again unless he wins the next federal election. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, it's a tough time to be a farmer in this country. It costs a lot to run a farm, and Chinese and American tariffs are putting the extra squeeze on things. That's weighing on farmers' minds as we head into the federal election. Jenny Whitfield reports.
It feels like a country fair as people check out Canada's farm show in Regina. But farmers here are feeling anything but celebratory with trade wars on their mind. Chinese tariffs on canola and pork are in effect, and American tariffs are mere days away. It's why one farming couple will be watching the upcoming federal election campaign closely.
The circumstances now are just going from bad to worse with Trump's policies, with China's response to Trudeau's stupidities, and now we have a new Liberal leader, and we're just kind of wait and see. Are you going to do anything to help us out? Because farming is what we do in Saskatchewan.
Jensen would expect her farm to draw $1 million or more in canola alone this year, but those profits could evaporate with tariffs. Jensen and her husband are Conservative Party supporters, and they aren't thrilled that the Liberals have another shot at government.
But everything is for the East. If the Liberals get in, I think what's going to happen here, Western Canada is going to separate.
The Jensens and other farmers here are also still upset about the carbon tax. While Liberal leader Mark Carney has promised to kill the consumer carbon levy, some rural voters here say they don't believe it.
It's just a ploy to get more votes. That's my opinion.
But one political scientist doesn't buy talk of Western separation.
I think that's largely because like the Wexit or the Western separatist movement tends to be a loud movement, but that is still largely on the fringes of Western Canadian politics.
Westlake says most people in Saskatchewan still identify as Canadians first. But most farmers agree they need someone in this election campaign to champion their cause, as costs and uncertainty skyrocket.
It's just like the numbers are mind-boggling. It's just a very, very stressful occupation to be in right now.
And they'll make sure their voices are heard at the ballot box. Jenny Whitfield, CBC News, Regina.
Well, a gorgeous sunny Tuesday in Regina and for much of the province as well. And that, unfortunately, all about to come to an end in the next few days as we get another blast of winter. But in the meantime, some very nice temperatures, almost all of us actually through the province, looking at pretty much seasonal or above seasonal temperatures. Double digits once again for much of south central and southwestern Saskatchewan, even up in far northern Saskatchewan where we didn't get above the freezing mark in places like Uranium City and Stony Rapids. Still really not too bad of a Tuesday. Skies again nice and sunny, but you're starting to see now a little bit of moisture moving into western sections of the province. We have some snow moving into the far north and yeah, a little bit of some rain showers later Tuesday and early into Wednesday moving into the southwest. Now a very active weather map over these next couple of days here. That snow that you saw on the radar going to keep moving through the north overnight tonight, especially far northern sections. Not expecting a whole lot from that. But here's where things start going in south and central Saskatchewan over the next couple of days. We got an area of some rain showers or maybe even a little bit of some flurries or freezing rain activity that's going to start early Wednesday morning. By the time we get to mid-morning Wednesday, that's around Regina, down through Weyburn and Estevan. Again, could be either rain or snow as that moves on by. Much of the south and central part of the province will stay under cloudy conditions for Wednesday as the north begins to clear out. And then things really get going as we move into Thursday. Again, a band of what will likely be some freezing rain from Kindersley through to Regina, through about the Weyburn area, or maybe a little bit of wet snow. And then heavy snow begins moving along that Yellowhead corridor through Saskatoon, down through Yorkton, all through the northern grain belt as we get into Thursday afternoon. Another little area of some rain possible for southern Saskatchewan Thursday evening. Snow begins to taper off at this point for central areas. And it's by and large out of here by Friday morning, leaving us mostly province-wide with cloud cover. Now, snowfall totals here again, for the most part, the bullseye of this looks to be kind of in an area around the Shellbrook and Spiritwood area in between Prince Albert and the Battlefords, maybe upwards of 20 centimeters or even locally heavier amounts there. The Battlefords themselves, we are watching that area for some possibly heavy snow there too. For Regina and southern Saskatchewan, again, this is mostly going to be a freezing rain event. Not a whole lot, but just enough to make those roads pretty slick at times. We're also going to have to watch those winds picking up, again, especially as we get into Thursday. That'll be some blowing snow at times as those winds gust to 50, maybe 60 kilometers an hour. So for Regina, the possibility of some morning showers or flurries, and then Thursday, that's when we see a little bit of that freezing rain moving through, left with flurries for Friday, and then things improving as we head into the weekend. For Saskatoon, not too bad of a Wednesday, actually, before the snow comes on Thursday. I'm going to put you at 10 to 15 just to be safe on the high end there. Some flurries for Friday, chilly for Saturday under cloud cover, and then we get into some sunnier conditions for Sunday. Temperatures warm up, but still staying below seasonal as we get into the beginning of next week. Well, you're looking at an elaborate preparation to make an ice carousel on a lake in southwest Finland. This rotating disc is about 25 meters in diameter and weighs about 150,000 kilos. Now, it's only operational for a day, though. Overnight temperature drops will freeze it all over once again. A Finnish inventor has created more than 80 ice carousels over the years. Pretty neat. Stay with us. We'll have more news and a final look at the forecast when we come back. Welcome back. A record store owner in Vancouver was stunned when he made a surprising discovery recently. It turns out a dusty old recording that had long been on one of his shelves is a rare find. This reel-to-reel tape was labeled Beatles 60s Demos. It had been sitting on a shelf in a record shop, and it was only discovered when the shop owner was working with some other old tapes at his friend's studio. It appears to be a rare, high-quality copy of the Beatles audition tape at Decca Records in 1962.
Found this tape that's been kicking around the store for years, which I thought was just a reel-to-reel tape that someone had put bootleg things on, because it said Beatles 60s Demos. We ended up putting it on just to check it out, and then we just couldn't believe what we were hearing. It seemed like the Beatles were in the room.
The tape appears to have made its way to Vancouver about 50 years ago, but exactly how it ended up in the record shop is not clear. The owner says he'll probably keep it in his collection, or he says if Paul McCartney wants to come to Vancouver to buy him dinner, he'll probably just give the tape to him. Looking for some possible showers to move in overnight through southwestern and west central areas of the province. Otherwise, much of us going to be seeing cloud cover building in as we see those lows drop to between about freezing and -5 overnight. Northern areas of the province, we can expect again a little bit of moisture in most areas, whether that is a little bit of rain or some snow at times, especially this evening. Those temperatures, though, quite warm still through the Churchill region overnight. In the far north, not getting much above -15 in many locations, but western sections of the north beginning to clear out as we head into the afternoon. For south and central, again, we are watching that area of maybe a little bit of some freezing rain, some flurries, rain kind of a mix moving through south central and southeastern areas. That's mostly moved out of here by the afternoon. Some clearing in central regions, southern Saskatchewan, though, spending the day under cloud cover as we see those temperatures above the freezing mark once again. And again, we are watching for that system starting to move in as we get into the next couple of days here. So enjoy the last of the nice weather until we get to that system moving in a little bit later in the week. And that is it for us. For more news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/sask or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel. You can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.